chasing wrong from right. Eyes like fire burning through the haze. Truth is a weapon, cuts through the maze. Some call her trouble, some call her brave. Digging up secrets they tried to save. A real deal around town. She's breaking it down, spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her cry, yeah. They whisper in shadows, they curse her name. Afraid of the spotlight she brings to the game. But the grateful ones, they cheer in the dark for the spark she ignites in their weary hearts. Some call her danger, some call her hope. She's the thin line on the tightrope. Oh, real deal around town. She's breaking it down, spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. Real deal around town. She's breaking it down, spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The truth's her crown, yeah.
Well, hi everybody, we're back. Real Deal is back with another video on a live action meeting happening in Townsend, Massachusetts. Tonight, the Board of Health is meeting at 6 o'clock, so we're going to be joining them as soon as they come up. They're not up yet. I'm sitting here on Zoom, watching and waiting. And there's a couple other meetings happening tonight. One is the Planning Board. They're at 6:30. And the Board of Water Commissioners, I can't remember if they're 6:30 or 7, probably 7. I'm not planning on attending those because I had to make a decision. I had to go through their agendas and decide which ones I wanted to catch. And they're all interesting. So I had to make a choice. And Board of Health is up first. So let's do them. And they do have a loaded agenda. They have a whole bunch of septic I was going to say upheaval. That's not the word I want. Upgrades, I guess. They've got a whole bunch of them. So we'll listen to those. I think they're also going to be talking about some Board of Health inspection follow-ups. I think there's some issues with some businesses, residents, and a couple other things that they have listed. They do not have the address listed or the names of whatever they're following up on. I think, according to the open meeting law, they really should have the specifics of these meetings. Hi, John. Trying to pay attention to the chat tonight. I missed a few people early on my last video. Thanks for joining, John. Glad to have you. But anyway, back to the Board of Health. They really should, under the open meeting law, they really are supposed to list if they're dealing with complaints or inspections, violations, they're supposed to list the property. So, and that falls under the specificity requirement for meeting notices to let the public know so that they would be able to attend the meeting, and because it's an item of interest to abutters, and people. Like, I know there was a restaurant they were dealing. I don't know if Yee's Village is on one of these lists, but I know that they were dealing with Yee's Village for months on some concerns that they had, and even they attended the Board of Health meeting a few months ago, but I don't remember. I don't think they ever put it on the agenda. And it's like, if we have a restaurant in town, I'm not picking on Yee's, but that was a restaurant that they had a violation. They had a couple of violations, and they were having trouble getting them to comply. So town residents have a right to know, and it should be posted on an agenda if there's restaurants that we might eat from that are having Board of Health problems. And that's just one example. But there's others that I don't know how many updates they're going over tonight, but there's a general announcement on the agenda. So I want to know what are we talking about? And it might not be even as extreme as I'm making it, but because they weren't specific. So we'll see. And they're going to talk about the budget, and a couple other routine housekeeping items are on their agenda. So hopefully we'll learn about what's going on. And let's see, is there anything else exciting going on in town? Yes, of course. This Friday, I'll be doing it live, but David Vijant will be having I think it's just motion hearing on Friday with the Ethics Commission. This is getting down and dirty. We're getting into the final parts of the case against David Vijant regarding the ethics problem with contracting out the water main project. And that's a serious problem also for Gary Shepard, but the Ethics Commission is dealing with both of them simultaneously, but David's case is far ahead of Gary's, and they haven't posted anything to speak of informationally on the Ethics Commission website, and I haven't received any additional documents on that. So I'm kind of anticipating that Ethics is waiting to deal with David first. All right, Water Watch is coming up here, so I'm going to hold it up. No.
For that right now, so I don't want
There it
to.
is.
So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 5 for deletion. Okay. Pens?
This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Townsend Board of Health meeting today, Monday, January 12th, 2026, 6 p.m. Roll call. Dr. Christian Roman Ramirez, Chairman.
Todd National Clerk, here.
And Mr. Charles Paul Serene is not going to be meeting us tonight, but we have a quorum for tonight. Before we can continue, anybody recording tonight's meeting?
Me.
Okay, since nobody's recording. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Cindy. Okay. 1.2 additions, deletions. So we're for deletions, 1.3.3, 249, 251 Main Street upgrade with LUAs that will be continued. 1.3.4, 10 West Elm Street, upgrade with LUAs, that's gonna be continued. 1.3.5, 1 Hayes Drive, upgrade, that's gonna be continued. 1.3.6, 41 Brookline Street, upgrade with LUAs, that's gonna be continued. And 1.10, review educational flyer for pay-as-you-throw program, continue on the next meeting as well of 1/26/2026. Having that been said, we are gonna go over 1.3 for the septic permits for review. We have 1.3.1, 17 Sauna Road, increase in flow.
Do you know where Sonora Road is? Take a ride down there. It's absolutely unbelievable. You can see down the bottom of it.
Yeah, it's West Townsend, off of Vinton Pond Road, which comes off of New Fitchburg. But this is an existing lot with an existing house on it. We don't have anything indicating that the system's failing, but what they are trying to do is to change it from a 2-bedroom house to a 4-bedroom house. So it's considered an increase in flow. So they've got an existing well on the property here, existing footprint of the house, and they are proposing to put in a 2,500 gallon 2-compartment septic tank that will gravity feed down to 3 50-foot long trenches. And so it's designed for the 4 bedrooms, and it's in full compliance with the code because increases in flow have to meet new construction requirements. So it's pretty much as straightforward as it gets.
Any questions, comments?
Simple enough.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve 17 Sauna Road for the increase in flow?
I'll make a motion to accept the increase in flow septic system for, 17 Sauna Row in West Townsend.
Okay. Any additional comments? I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Very well.
I'll grab that one question. I just waiting for conservation signature on it.
So we have 1.3.2, 48 West Elm Street, increase in flow as well.
So this one's same proposal, an increase in flow, but a little bit different as far as what they're trying to accomplish. So they have an existing 3-bedroom house. The system was put in, I believe it was 3 years ago, and was purchased, and they want to add a 1-bedroom ADU in the back of the house. And so in order to accomplish the increase in flow, they had to do a Title V inspection on the existing system, which did pass. And in order to accommodate the additional flow, they need to add this one additional leaching trench. So basically the work that they'll be doing would be construction of this ADU, tying that into the existing 2,500 gallon septic tank with a sewer line, and then that'll gravity feed to the existing D box, and they'll add that one trench that'll tie into the vent as well. So it's to accommodate the addition of 1 bedroom for the ADU.
So this is the existing trenches already?
2 existing trenches, and that's the one added one, yeah.
Any questions, comments?
So they don't need a full upgrade to do an additional bedroom?
They don't. So in some cases you might. So when they installed this system, it was in full compliance with the upgrade regulations. So they basically didn't ask for any variances. The only thing that they didn't do was design a reserve area. So as part of the increase in flow, they designed a reserve area in the back. And then they added the trench to the existing system, and obviously the Title V inspection to make sure that system passed inspection and was functioning.
This is great.
That's probably nearly 3 years ago when they bought it.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve 48 West Elm Street increase in flow?
I will make a motion to approve the increase in flow septic system for 48 West Elm Street.
Okay,
Septic.
I second that. Any additional comments? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Very well.
No, I can keep that and this one's all set, so you can put that one.
Okay. That lead us to 1.4 time capsule contributions. Carla, can you tell us about, this is from the Historical Society, if I'm not mistaken correctly?
Yes, they are putting together a time capsule and they wanted to know if the Board of Health had any interest in including things. So we're bringing it to the board.
What do you say?
Well, I'm thinking that we should come up with something that represents the Board of Health that we could introduce into that time capsule.
How about a septic system engineering plan? Because I'm pretty sure when they open it, septic systems aren't gonna be around anymore, right?
I mean, Townsend is a town that's like perfect for septic systems, so it probably doesn't make sense financially for the town to go to sewer at any point. If it was,
At any
I
point?
mean, if they were really gonna build out commercially, then at that point, yeah, you might.
Okay,
But you gotta recoup costs and it's
Okay.
expensive to put in a treatment plant and all that, so
Okay.
I don't see it coming anytime soon anyways.
well, I don't either, and I always say in my lifetime, but how long is the time capsule? Is it 200 years?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how long they're gonna do it for. I mean, you guys created the pay-as-you-throw program, so you could put something into.
Well,
Throw a purple bag in that.
Well, we could, it's not a bad idea to put like a purple bag and write down a little bit about
it's not.
this history of the Board of Health. I mean,
Do the bags have a date on it?
They don't, they have the logo, but we could put something inside the bag. What does this bag represent?
Sure.
Okay, you want me to look at, and I'll look at, I'll research a little more about what the size can be, if there's any more. It was a very vague.
Give you like a Ziploc bag.
like a sample. Can we get a sample from Waste Zero?
Yeah, we absolutely could.
Because one thing we can do, and with that attached, I don't know if we can write down like the story of the foundation of the Board of Health here in Townsend.
Absolutely.
Just to add that. What are your thoughts about that, Todd?
Sure.
In a purple bag. Okay,
I mean,
Alright.
that's, or we can write instead the achievements that the Board of Health had the previous year and add it to that.
I wanna find out when this time capsule is being opened before. Cause if it's gonna be 30 years, that would be one thing. If it's gonna be 200 years, I would like to do a little more research. I apologize that I don't have more information. Just wanted some input, but it does sound like the board wants to contribute something.
Yes.
It sounds like a purple bag would be a great idea and some type of achievements.
Maybe a yellow sticker.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be purple next year, so I don't know.
But I think having a purple, if we're able to get like a sample of the purple bag, not to put the huge bag,
The
but
whole 5 roll, just one, yes.
just to get a sample of that purple bag and attach to it to either the achievements that we had the 2025 and add that to that time capsule with the current board members' names in it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about that?
Amen.
Okay. That leads us to 1.5 fiscal year 2027 budget submission. We have under our consideration the landfill operations budget. Carla and landfill's operation budget, and we have the Neshoba Associated Board of Health's budget as well. Which
You also have the Board of Health operating budget, as well as the landfill engineering budget. So you have those to discuss. Rick, would you like to talk about the Neshoba Board of Health budget?
I can try. I mean, I wasn't really way too involved in it, and the supporting documents that Jim Grecky provided, it'd probably do a much better
It is
idea.
there, if you can see it, it's in your package right here. This is where he was giving me reasons why the increase was as much as it was.
So if Todd doesn't mind, I would want to read the letter that the memorandum sent by the Neshoba Associated Board of Health, so that the people can be aware why, start with that increase first. This is from Jim Garaffi, Director, fiscal year 2027 Neshoba assessment. This is from the Neshoba Associated Board of Health, where part of our service, we have contracted, that facilitates some of our services here, for the Board of Health here in Townsend. This letter is dated from, December 16th, 2025. It says here, at the quarterly meeting of the Neshoba Associated Board of Health to, December 4th, 2025, the board voted to raise the assessments for the the assessments for the 2026-2027 budget cycle by 30% over the assessments from the previous years. This is a large percentage increase in the email corresponding with the board members leading to the budget meeting. I provided the reasons for the magnitude of this year's increase. I'm available to speak to your board and or individual members to provide background on the budget process and the budget increase, and summary of the reasons for the increase is provided below. There is a structural issue with our funding model. It is highly reliant on land use related activities. The level of those activities have been reduced significantly, but many of the public health related activities such as compliant investigations, housing inspections, and water quality questions continue to consume more staff time. These activities are not fee supported. Number two, our community nursing program has been partially funded by assessment and access revenue from the fees paid as mentioned above. And since COVID, some state and federal grants have helped sustain our staffing levels. As mentioned above, fee revenue will not support the maintenance of the minimum staff needed, and the grant support will end in fiscal year 2026. This level service budget will provide funds to maintain our nursing staff for their current duties and new responsibilities under the foundational public health service model. Number three, with the closing of the Neshoba nursing service and hospice and retirements, the association has had to right-size the support staff needed to provide the finance, human resource, and IT services we need to operate. This has required hiring a full-time staff person and contract IT services. It is also provides funds to make the director's salary more competitive in anticipation of retirement, and will help us stay in compliance with the PHE grant requirements. The association is blessed with long-serving experienced staff. Maintaining this staff requires competitive salaries and benefits. Health insurance costs have gone up dramatically. The monies provided by the assessments and fees collected provided about $13.41 per capita spending for public health services for the association's members' communities. Monies provided by the Department of Public Health bring the total of $17.18. The association is at the lower end of spending for the entities participating in the Public Health Excellence Grant Program. The average for municipal public health spending was $17.56 fiscal year 2023. The monies from the grant program cannot be used to supplant existing funding, and the monies to the Department of Public Health have been extremely helpful. I understand the percent increase is high, but if we are to provide a sustainable association for our member communities, we will need to have a funding mechanism which provides the necessary resources. The community's assessment for fiscal year 2027 will be the environmental $48,147 with 33 cents, nursing $22,067 with 53 cents, a total of $70,214.86. If you should have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at the office. So that means that our budget for the Neshoba Associated Board of Health is going to be in total $70,214.86. Rick, can you tell us a little bit more about the services that Neshoba provides to Townsend specifically, so that we and the public can be informed about what we are in process of approving with these budgets?
Sure. So we've got Bridget Pomprand, who you guys are aware of. She does the food inspection, the majority of the food inspections for the district. So she does the majority of plan review and permitting for temporary events, for restaurants that are looking to get licensed. She does inspections. Typically, the goal is at least twice annually, if not more. And then we have a part-time food inspector. She works, I think, about 15 hours a week or so to help Bridget with the workload. And then for the most part, the rest falls under me. So septic plan review, soil evaluations related to septic systems, general nuisance complaints, housing complaints regarding substandard housing. We enforce the well regulations, so at every sale of property, people have to do a water test. That's typically me going out there and collecting it and reviewing the results and providing them with direction if needed, or telling them that the water's potable. And I'm trying to think, really any regs that the Board of Health would typically enforcement would fall under what I would do. So we do the investigation and send out letters regarding taking care of non-compliance issues. And then in the nursing side, they'll do home visits for people that need it. They provide the vaccinations. Typically during flu season, we did the COVID vaccines as well. I think they've done RSV and the other respiratory vaccines as well at the same time as the flu. They'll do, they've gotten away from it because of staffing issues. All of our public health nurses either left the agency or retired. And so there are 2 public health nurses that are on staff now. So I believe the plan is to get monthly programming, mostly at the COAs, going again. I believe it's this month, it's supposed to start again. So they'll reach out to the COAs, see what kind of programming the seniors need, and they'll provide that programming to them, whether it be the nurse speaking or going out and finding speakers to take care of whatever the topic is that they want to discuss during that month. Blood pressure clinics they do. And any public health nursing, so the stuff that you guys don't really see, but we have to do. So like communicable diseases, they'll track and deal with the people with those communicable diseases to make sure that they're following protocols, and they enter that information into MAVEN, which is the Department of Public Health database for communicable diseases, and track those cases until the people are ready to be let out of that protocol and get back to their life. And there's quite a bit that goes with that. And I think that's it for the most part. I mean, we do quite a bit, and I think Jim's got a pamphlet that kind of gives an overview of all the services that we offer. So I'm sure I'm missing some, but it's quite a bit. And I guess at the same time, I'll take the opportunity, in case you guys aren't aware, they hold quarterly executive committee meetings where things like budget, community needs, things like that are discussed. I don't know if they just go to Christian or if you see them too, Todd, but they definitely go out at least to the chairman, and then the chairman can distribute them. But like the budget one was obviously a big one this year, and I don't believe there was a representative from Townsend at the meeting. And so especially those end of year quarterly meetings where budgets are discussed, if you can make it, they offer
Jim
hybrid.
used to go, right?
Occasionally, not often, I wouldn't say. So they did switch to like a hybrid format, so you can either go in person or you can do it on Zoom. It seemed like that raised attendance and allowed more input from different communities. And so if you can make those meetings, I really would encourage you to, because you do have a say as far as what the agency does, and that's your opportunity to make changes if you think that there need to be.
Well, I can compromise to attend one of the virtuals because I get some correspondence for that. So, any other questions?
No. Going to the table, I can't really say. So as far as comparison from last year to this year to 30% to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big one, and my understanding is a big part of it is insurance costs, health-related insurance costs. They keep on going up. It was 25% last year, 25% this year. So those contribute to it. But the bigger part is, just like every town, we have a state auditor that comes in and looks at our budget and tells us if we're heading in a direction where the agency isn't sustainable anymore. And the thing that the auditors brought up for at least the past 5 years has been that our service is funded mostly on fees. And if those go away, then the agency doesn't survive. And so they've tried to get us, they've encouraged us to get to 100% assessment-based funding, which probably isn't likely. It's got to be supplemented by fees. But that's the goal, is to try to get there. And I think in that packet, or at least when Jim had sent out the information regarding the budget meetings that happened in December, he gave a history of the assessments and kind of what they were. So for many years when I started, we level funded.
You level funded for almost a decade.
Yeah, I mean, we had 0% increases for a while, and then it was 2 or 3% increases, and then the past few years it's been 5% increases. Mm-hmm. So I think that lack of kind of preparing for the future has caught up with us at this point.
I can't disagree with 30%. 30% is across the board what people need to go up to come back up to par. So I'm not gonna argue with the 30%, so it seems to be the common denominator with.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we're similar to towns, and the towns are kind of in the same boat as us. But like Jim said, if there are any questions that are related to the budget, then certainly reach out to him and he can discuss those with you.
And I think that the service that Nashoba provides to us, it's like if we would have do this on our own,
You can't for that.
Did it go 30% across the board, or does 30% go one way, or just?
30% across the board, yeah, and so part of it when you look at it.
It was not only us, but
You have the full thing.
what the towns that are associated with Nashoba,
I have.
Nashoba Associated Board of
last year's,
Health,
this
so.
year's
Yeah,
letter.
but we didn't just throw the environmental and nursing
The memo from Jim now.
evenly across the board, I should say.
Yeah, so I think this, item number 5 on the memo from Jim, it talks about, per capita spending. And so we're part of the Public Health Excellence Grants, which is like, for shared services communities. So if you share services with multiple towns, you're eligible for this particular grant. And so they have quite a bit of data regarding this per capita spending. And basically what that means is for every person in town, it's $13.41 to provide our services. And the average for all the towns that do take part in that, $17.56. When you add the amount that comes from the Public Health Excellence Grant, it goes up to $17.18. But your real cost is $13.41 per capita.
Okay. What I'm going to do is that we are going to vote individually for each budget.
Please.
Can I, before we get a motion, is there any comments from the public that are seeing us? Okay, very well. Can I get a motion to approve, budget for the Board of Health for the fiscal year 2026, 2027 for the Nashoba Associated Board of Health?
To make a motion to approve the budget for the 26-27 fiscal year for the Neshoba Associated Board of Health.
Okay, I second that. Roll call for voting. Dr. Christian Roman Ramirez, aye.
Don Arsenal, clerk, aye.
Okay. Budget approved for the Nashoba Associated Board of Health fiscal year 2026, 2027. Okay. And the second piece that we are voting on tonight is the Board of Health's operating budget. Carla, can you tell us a little bit more about
Absolutely.
the operating budget, please?
So the operating budget is basically your salaries and your expenses, which expenses come into professional services, dues and subscriptions, travel, and other, which is illegal dumping. I'm a little confused about the illegal dumping because I have conversations with the finance committee that says that the 3,000 is still in there, but my records show that it's not. And I really think that we should put at least 500 in there. There was 3,000 that was in there last year. It's for if there's a mattress that's dropped at the side of the road and the highway will call me and they have to drop it off at the recycling center. So the general revolving fund doesn't have to offset that. So that's right down here, illegal dumping.
You said
So-
there's 3,000 in there.
It was, but I don't think we need 3. I think we can stay with 5.
Think so?
I do. Of course, we're guessing because we don't know, but history has
But you said the
shown,
3 is gone.
well, that's,
Did it get eaten up
we-
somewhere else or
it,
2 mattresses?
yes, it went away when we were told to cut 20% of our budgets. So that's one of the things. The other thing, professional services, was budgeted at 50, which is a ridiculous number again, because we needed to cut 20% of the budget. I'd like that to go up to $200, and I know that looks like it's a 300% increase, and it is, but we have regulations that will be updating and they need to be in the paper. So it's in the hauler regulations we've been talking about, so we know that we know that we have to publicize them.
And it's usually like, let's say $70 to $120 for advertising costs.
Right, so I figured if we had 200 and we did 2 or 3 regulations, we'd be covered. We know that we're gonna do haulers, I think we might have tobacco, we've been looking at tobacco if it comes up.
Yeah.
So that was something, dues and subscriptions, we completely leveled out because we haven't used the money, but that is because we had Board of Health members that had been here for a long time. I think it's very important for the new members to get some of these publications and be able to go to these meetings. So, and that's a very conservative number, 250, but at least get you something. And then the travel, the $50 was a typo. It was $585. We changed it to 20% at $500, and for some reason it went in at $50. So we're just asking for that. So you are asking for a substantial amount of money in the budget, but if you look at in office supplies as well, was $25, and we'd asked to go up to $300. A toner alone is $50. So it would be prudent for us to replenish this to at least a realistic budget. It's not back to the 20% cut. We're looking at probably 10%. I mean, you're looking at $1,200. $1,500. So it's not a lot of money, but I think that it's important to have the money for the things that are gonna come up. Professional services are gonna come up. Do subscriptions, would really like to get some information for the new board members. Travel, it's gonna come up. Illegal dumping, it might come up, it might not, but we do have a couple of couches and mattresses over the course of the year. I've never spent more than $500. And the office supplies. The reason why we are functioning right now is I am taking a lot of the office supplies and the travel out of our general revolving account and our grant money, but we really need to save that grant money for other things. So it was a good fix for this year, but again, it's not a lot of money, and I really would like the board to consider it.
And also, there's page number. So in a nutshell, so for wages and salaries for this fiscal year will be 57,795.
Yes,
correct?
and that is a 4% increase, what the union negotiations were.
Okay,
There is, I have to go back, oh, okay, so if you go to page 2, I'm sorry. If you go to the base wages is $50,500 last year, with a 4% increase brings my wages to $55,445. There's a clothing allowance, and this is all union negotiated, clothing allowance of $850, which will stay $850, and the stipend for me being here for 18 years is $1,500. So that's where you get the $57,795. So the budget has only gone up 4%, which is the salary, which is what the union was. Other than the supplies and training and professional services.
any questions, comments? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the Board of Health operating budget? If there's any questions from anybody in the community?
Okay.
I mean, no questions, so, can I get a motion to present, the Board of Health operating budget for fiscal year 2026, 2027?
Present or approve?
Approve.
I make a motion to approve the operating budget of 2020, fiscal year 26, 27.
Okay, I'll second that. Roll call for voting. Dr. Christian Roman Ramirez, aye.
Todd Arsenault, aye.
Okay, so the budget, the operating budget for the Board of Health is approved. And then the next section that we have to present to our consideration is the landfill, the Board of Health landfill engineering budget. Karma, if you can guide us through it.
Yes, so the landfill engineering budget is in your package, which is a 3-year contract in engineering monitoring reporting for the town of Weston and Sampson engineers, and these are mandated regulations that we have to follow for the closed landfill. Weston and Sampson had closed the landfill back in 2000, so I don't feel that it's prudent to go out to bid where they've been there forever. I have done some procurement with verbal quotes, and they're extremely competitive in their knowledge, being there since day one. I just find exemplary. So they have a fiscal year of 27, 28, 29. It's based on a 3-year contract. This coming year, fiscal 27, is at $25,700. Fiscal year 26 was 22,750. Now, it will go up for 28 and 29, but it doesn't go up a lot of money. And again, these are mandated requirements for the landfill. Rick, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I mean, I deal with it in Ashby, the landfill, and they have a resident who's a PE do theirs for a big time discount, and it sounds pretty similar.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
No, sir.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the Board of Health landfill engineering environmental monitoring and reporting contract between the town of Townsend and Weston and Sampson Engineering, Inc.?
I will make a motion to approve the budget for environmental monitoring and reporting in between the town of Townsend and Weston and Sampson Engineering.
I'll second that. Roll call for voting. Dr. Christian Roman Ramirez, aye.
Doug Osmell, aye.
Okay, it's approved.
If it pleases the chairman, please, if we could continue down to 1.11 Weston and Sampson FY 27 to FY 29 landfill engineering contract submission. That is what we were just talking about. It is in your package. If you'd like to sign that now.
Yes, we
That
will
would be
sign it. We have it
terrific.
approved.
Okay, I'd like to get at least 2 copies of original signatures. We have 3 floating around, but if we could get 2 with 2 signatures, that would be great.
Which one is for the signature? Oh.
Rick, I'm just keeping you here for the annual
No, yeah.
report.
Yep, and I gotta stay for the outstanding action items. Just,
Oh, true.
what we want to do with those 2, yeah.
Do we need another one?
So I think 2's enough. I really do. That's great.
Just for the public to know, on our next meeting, the Board of Health will be passing on into consideration the enterprise account budget for the Pay As You Throw program on our next meeting, which will be on January 26th at 6 o'clock. That's why we haven't presented. We still have until March to, what is the due date?
First week of March.
The first week of March to present to the select board a approved budget for the enterprise account, which we will talk about the numbers and if there's any questions from the public regarding that, we invite the public to come to that meeting too, or if you want to meet with us online as well, as we always do every meeting, you are more than welcome. Okay.
you'd have landfill, operations still doing the buckets.
Oh.
It's there.
Oh, wait, sorry for the public, so we have the landfill,
Landfill operations. And landfill operations is basically some building maintenance and some energy. Do you have the backup? Because I'm only showing one piece here.
is it this one?
No, that's not the engineering. Landfill operations right here.
Oh,
So,
it's on the,
Have the operations and then the expenses is the one behind it.
no, the expense is not here. So I would like to go get this piece from you. I apologize. I'm gonna go into my office because what we've done with the landfill engineering,
I have the,
you can see that it's gone from 9,700.
yes, he has it.
Do you have the backup?
Yes. Yes.
yes,
Okay, I wanted more backup. I can explain it to you because it's only building maintenance and utilities. So we, again, took 20% off of this budget. We actually cut it by 34%. And we have $9,700, $5,500 of that is for landfill mowing. Okay, and then 3,000 was for electricity and heat. So we cut that, and now we have 1,200 for heat and 1,200 for electricity, and that's going to be pretty hard to stay with the unitil increases. We have switched out. We have gone to Hafner's versus Lorden. Which is saving us a lot of money in propane. There was a cost to dispose of the Lorden tanks, which we are gonna pay through the capital fund. And the 2 tanks are filled, which you will see in your invoices. And that should last us most, and it was $800, and I think that's gonna last us most of the year. But Unitil is just crazy. I mean, I don't know how to forecast it, so I've only gone up. You look at 9,700 to 10,950. It's a very minimal amount of money, but I really think that we need it, and I do believe that it is a 13% increase.
Any questions, comments?
I can go back and get it, but I can tell you that it's the landfill mowing, it's the heat and the electricity, and building and maintenance has $1,000 in case the roof goes on the building, or if the pipes freeze or something like that for the actual building at the recycling
yeah,
center.
but you said you had, what'd you have for heat and electricity before you bumped it down to 1,200? 1,500?
I had like 3,000. I cut it in half. I can go back and get it for you.
No.
I'd be really happy to, because I'd like for everyone to be informed. I'm surprised that I don't have page 2 here. But the budget is going up 13%. 13%.
And we need to do the raise that budget then, right?
I don't know how you are going, well, just look at it this way, if you're paying $300 a month for electricity times 12, how are you gonna do that with $1,200? You're not. You're gonna need twice that. We're using right now, when it's very, very cold out, I know that there's an electric heater that the guys are using in there. Is it easier to pump up the propane?
Oh, God, yeah. Jeez.
So we can talk to them about that.
That heater's gonna cost you.
Okay, so you think the heater it's a better idea to go with the turning up the heat, because that place is really tall.
Yeah, you turn electric heaters on, the meter's just gonna spin off the wall.
Okay, so we should tell them then, if you're cold, to turn up the heat and not use the electric heater.
Yes, because the electric heater is through electricity, unless what is coming into my mind is that, and we have to do some research, and we can talk about it at some future point, to go solar.
Can't get solar down there, because we don't have three-phase power. That's why the landfill was never used for solar. There's
So we
no
can't-
way-
we
there's-
can't come-
There's no way to get solar down there.
What are your thoughts about that, Todd?
Well, where there's a will, there's a way, but that's another discussion.
Well, yeah, you're gonna pay for the $300,000 for them to bring the power down there?
You can't convince me to put solar anywhere, so.
We have had more than enough people that come in to talk to the town administrator and the town selectman, and the first thing they do is, whoa, the landfill, let's put solar up. And it never happens.
There's a propane heater there.
There's 2 tanks that are fully full right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'll definitely let them know that. That will help. Would you like me to get the actual background for this right now?
Like 2 items, right?
3, building maintenance, mowing, so there's mowing, building maintenance, heat and electricity. And heat and electricity, I actually separated because it was just under utilities. Because the selectmen are asking us to really look at the budget and how much are you paying for electricity? How much are you paying for heat versus just throwing it all? So I had, it looks like you're 20% down on one and you're 20% up on one, but I just cut it in half.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the landfill operations budget for the Board of Health?
I'll make a motion to approve the landfill operations to the Board of Health.
Okay, I second that. Roll call for voting. Dr. Christian Ramirez, aye.
I thought I was not aye.
Okay, very well. So that gives us the approved budget for the
The
Board of
town
Health.
operating budgets,
The town-
yes, the town operating budgets, the pay-as-you-throw budget, we will have at the next meeting.
At the
on
next meeting.
26th.
Okay. Let's go to 1.7 outstanding.
1.6, annual report discussion.
1.6 annual report discussion.
I'm going to be looking over my reports. I usually go through my monthly reports, I go through the minutes, I go through my messages from the telephone. That's really key. It's funny because I save them all. Rick, do you have anything that you think that we should add to it?
You did the styrofoam regs this year, right? I mean, that's gonna come from your minutes too.
Yeah.
And then, I think Jim Griffey's in the process of putting ours together. Most of our annual report is like, services based, so you can check, numbers against that as well. And I think at least based on what Jim had told me, for this year, we used to, every day I have to fill out a time card and tell you what I do, and it gets charged to whatever town it's for, and they're called activity logs. And so I think he's gonna start sending you either weekly or monthly activity logs, so the board can see what we're actually doing in town.
Okay,
And that'll cover, everything we do except for, I believe, nursing.
that'll be really good. That can go into like the outstanding items that's next on the agenda. So what I will do is I will bring a draft annual report to our next meeting. If you have anything that you have that comes up that you're thinking of.
I think that if you bring the draft, we can read it and probably, and I think that we're gonna be all here, so we can probably vote on it. What are your thoughts about that?
Just a quick question before we get into that. I got 3 different numbers here. Do we have to vote on one of those, or we? They're not up by much, but.
That is the Neshoba budget that you did vote on.
Right.
Okay, so you voted on that, which is the 7242 and 7714. So. Yes, typo. And that's where you got, when I said it was 35%.
5% difference, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a typo.
As long as we voted on the right number.
You voted on the right number. You voted on this number.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, Rick and I discussed that.
Okay, I just did
So,
Yeah, thank you, thank you. No, that's good that you pointed that out, because I brought it up too.
Yeah.
So I think that in our next meeting, if you can bring the report and we can read it and we can discuss a little bit more about the annual town report discussion. I mean, I think the board has a lot of,
You have a lot. I really wanna go through it. We have new board members, we have new regulations. There will be a lot. It's usually just something that I save as and I just change the numbers. But I think that this year with new board members, we really should probably vamp it up a little bit.
I agree.
okay. 1.7, outstanding action items. 1.7.1, restaurants. Any updates about any restaurants? I know that a few meetings ago we had East Village. How's that been going?
So I did get the last inspection report. So the last time that we talked to yous, there was an inspection done at the end of August, and it had showed significant improvement. And Bridget had said she would return in about 6 weeks to do another inspection. So the last one took place on October 16th of 2025. And all the temps look good, things still seem to be in order. And so it seemed like, that 6 weeks later, things still look the same as they did during that August inspection. So I think that, based on my discussion with her today, the plan was to get back on a normal inspection schedule, because, once we start going out there half a dozen times a year, we do start charging them for that. And so where they seem to have come into compliance, 6 weeks later, they're still there. We'll go and check them in another 6 months, which we would typically do, and hopefully they're still the same.
Okay. And any other restaurants? We don't have any other.
That one's the only other one, the only one.
And what about 1.7.2, businesses?
I don't have any businesses. We put this out as a template just to make sure that we're all crossing our T's and our I's.
We didn't have any businesses.
I don't have any businesses.
Yeah, I couldn't think of what that might really encompass. I mean,
Well,
the
there
only
was
thing-
one time that we had Blue Chip, remember they had the
dumpster
dumpster,
with that,
so,
yeah.
so that would, for me, that would fall under businesses.
Okay.
But I don't have any of those.
No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, the only thing we had talked about that was more business related recently was just making sure we get back to the businesses that carry those styrofoam products to remind them of.
Yeah, and Rick and I did talk about that, where the styrofoam regulations are going into effect July 1st. We're gonna be sending out a message probably in March.
Yeah.
Reminding them that they have to get rid of their inventory, because I was in Family Dollar, right before the holidays, and they have a whole road of styrofoam. So we will be sending that out.
What date does that go into?
July 1st.
Okay.
In residential, I know that we had a situation going on, for an update, right?
Couple of them, right? So there was a South Row one, I think, came out okay. That one was
The South Row is still going, so it looks a lot better. I'm sure you noticed some changes outside, but inside they're still doing some work there.
And then your, where are we, Shirley Road?
30 Shirley Road,
Yeah, that was on the table, right? What did we end up doing?
Yeah.
they have been perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
I do have another one that I just sent you guys an email on.
Saw that one.
That, so hopefully that will be resolved. So, yes. Any update on 140 Lunenburg Road?
So Todd and I had talked about that because he was the one that noticed it. And I've been by a few times. I can't see the backyard from the street is my issue. And so where I saw all the accumulation of debris out front, all that's gone as far as I can tell.
It wasn't pile up back, but.
Okay.
So,
My issue is, I can't go onto her property. I can only do what I can see unless I get permission to go on. I think Gary's her abutter, so either Gary's property or her property or the other abutter's property, to try to see out back there. And so, if you think I can get anywhere where I can see it legally,
so
then let me know and I'll go back out.
do you want to ask these people to come in our next meeting and talk about your observation, or?
What, Lunenburg?
Yes.
Well, if it's cleaned up, you said the front yard's
The
cleaned up.
front, I mean, everything's gone, but then you had said you thought it moved to the backyard.
I'm not sure if it moved or was just other stuff, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay, gotcha.
That could be gone too, I haven't been up there for a while, so.
Okay, well, I'll take a drive by and I'll see what I can see, and then we'll just keep it on this outstanding action items list. And if there seems to be an
That's fine,
ongoing
yeah.
issue, then we'll invite him in.
And other, well, we don't have any others at 1.7.4.
Just real quick, so the one you just saw, you sent them a letter, is that what you did?
I sent them a letter.
That was the letter.
I sent them a letter. I included the picture. And I sent the letter to Shaw's too.
Good.
So, and I went by 3 times before I sent the letter. So it's not just, we did it during the holidays. It's been happening for a while, so.
So I guess, while we're on this whole thing, kind of enforcement related stuff, more for like the residential part of it, if you guys, I drive around town quite a bit. I get plenty of complaints about properties, but if you guys, see anything that you want addressed, just give me a call, send me an email, let Carla know she can pass it along to me, and we'll deal with it.
Remember the people that were smoking, where was it?
Oh, the smoker, yes.
Across from Country Estates.
Yep.
Yes, any updates regarding that? Nothing?
Did you guys ever talk to him? Did anybody? You did? And we haven't seen him obviously since then. I've never seen him.
I've never seen him either, yeah, and we had tried to get the police report, and the police said they didn't generate a report based on their visit.
Yeah, I drove by him, he was sitting there smoking a butt. Yeah, I said who I was and introduced myself, and I said, you have some complaints and you really can't smoke here, and, keep complaining, it might be a letter in your mailbox. He said, okay. And that was the end of that.
Okay. All right, Rick. Will I see you
Okay.
tomorrow?
Yes, yeah.
1.8 minutes.
Minutes.
We
You
have minutes.
minutes from October 20th. Okay, it is two-sided. If you look at, you have your first page, and then the second page is actually the agenda, and then the third page it's a little backwards, but I didn't want to confuse you by handing you the agenda for October 20th and thinking that it was today's agenda, because that has happened.
Have a good night.
Good night.
See you tomorrow,
Thank
Rick.
you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll include that on the next, on the next agenda. Can I get a motion to approve, past minutes from the meetings of October 20th, 2025?
That's it.
That's it?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from October what?
October 20th.
20th.
October 20th, 2025.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Very well. Motion carries.
Excellent.
Invoices, Carla.
Invoices, you do have a cover sheet. So if you need any backup, we have a clothing allowance. Carla got a nice winter hat and a nice winter sweater. GW Shaw and Sons, that is our monthly fee for, and we need to stay around 58. So, and we all knew December was gonna be worse. And December
Can you share
actually,
the numbers to the public? How much was it?
it was $58,464.25. And that includes Thanksgiving and Christmas. Okay? Hafner's, again, they came in and they filled 2 tanks, for $728.08. Their propane is $1.11 less than Morton's. Unitil Energy, 308.90. Our bill last month was 304.
Right there, you know?
Okay. Staples, we have the grant, $213.87. This grant is mainly used for toner for the printers because we depleted the supplies, helping get the 20% off the budget last year. They are very expensive, so we're gonna take that money from the grant. And then the other two bills for $56.40 was supplies for the recycling center, toilet bowl cleaner. They clean their own bathroom. I'm not gonna argue with them with that. Toilet paper, paper towels, wipes, and that. And then Lorden, again, as I mentioned, we're taking the $370 out of the capital account to remove those containers, because if we take it out of energy, we probably will go over. So I think it is for the capital money is there. And this was they were there when I got here. And I just couldn't, I can't justify the higher price for Lord.
So the propane, the only thing that propane is for the heater. The only thing that propane does, twice a month.
Not twice a month, yes,
Yes.
but you have to keep it on too.
Yeah, for a minimum.
And the pipes froze twice in my 18 years, so I really don't wanna like throw it,
It's the bathroom.
yes.
Okay, yeah, that's okay, yeah. And the twice that it's open is, how long are they open for?
They're open from 7 to 2, but, they're there from 6:30 to probably 2:15. And then from, April Patriots Day to Memorial Day, they're open every Saturday.
Yeah, but not the cold.
Exactly right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, the propane versus,
Okay,
Good.
we'll talk about it.
Can I get a motion to approve, the total amount of $60,194.69 on warrant date of expenses for the Board of Health?
I'll make a motion to approve $60,194.69 for the,
Warrant.
warrant.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye. Aye, very well.
Excellent. The last thing on the agenda is the recycling center clothing allowance for boots. We have $125 for the employees. It's every 18 months. That fee was placed in 2016. It's been a little hard to find the boots. I think that we should up it to $150.
Buy a pair of sneakers for them.
How much is it regularly?
It's $125 for every 18 months. So it's every 2 years they'll come and say, can I get a new pair of boots? Because these things are just, so, but you really can't find a pair of boots for $125. So not a lot, just a $25 increase. It comes out of the general revolving account, so it has nothing to do with the operating budget. But it is a Board of Health.
Can I get a motion to increase for how much?
125.
For 125?
Oh, I'm sorry, 150. It is 125. I want
I will
to,
make a motion to increase the boot allowance from $125 to $150 for their boot allowance
every 18 months.
every 18 months.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very well. Okay, and our next meeting will be on January 26th, 2026 at 6 o'clock here at the first floor meeting room 2.
Oh, just to let everyone know, the Board of Health office is closed Wednesday and Friday this week. It is on the website as well as the voicemails and emails.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Definitely make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:06 p.m.
The recording has stopped.
I thought for sure we'd go till 8, but if we had the pay-as-you-throw stuff, we.
Okay, everybody, that's it for tonight's Board of Health meeting. For those of you that have followed along, The most interesting piece I thought was, well, multiple interesting pieces of budget conversation. And I think that this presentation that I just witnessed really talks about, adds to, I should say, my conversation about what kind of trouble we're in for the budget coming up on this next fiscal year, and the desperate need we really are in for, honestly, an override. And I've been asking for $1 million, and I'm not going to ask for more than that, I don't think. But I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if $1 million's even enough. I mean it. I'm not being crazy or silly or just trying to throw things out there to scare you into, well, $1 million a bargain. But I hate to say it, but I think $1 million override is a bargain. Carla just went over quite a few increases. The first one, we just don't have, we have to do this. And the Neshoba Board of Health, who provides us most of the services that actually keep the town running on required Board of Health stuff, public health things that we must do. We're required by law to do. We can't just say we're not going to do it anymore. And they've increased their assessment for us by 30%. Now, the Neshoba Board of Health is a collection of communities, a grouping that I could go to their website. You can go to the Neshoba Board of Health's website, and it lists all the communities that are part of this collective. And basically all the towns chip in, I think based on size, to provide, to chip in together to get the services we need. Because every town can't afford to hire everybody that works at the Neshoba Board of Health individually. We couldn't. I mean, it would be cost prohibitive for each of the towns individually to get out of Neshoba Board of Health and do things on our own. It's just cost prohibitive. So they're asked, in fact, they've assessed us an increase of 30%, which that's over the 2.5%, but that doesn't mean, just because there's some 2.5, Proposition 2.5 law that says we can't increase things by 2.5, that doesn't mean costs don't go up more than that. And that's what we're up against. Particularly this year and, the last couple of years, but they've increased by 30%. And they said one of the things that is a significant increase is their health insurance for the employees. And that's true. That's killing us too. For our employees and the schools, everybody's health insurance is really going through the roof. And we can't say no to it. We can't say we're not going to provide it anymore. We're required to provide it anymore. And if for some reason we were able to cancel it, every single employee would walk out the door. They would get another job somewhere else. They'd have to. Because the cost of providing health insurance for yourself, in some families, it would cost more than what they're making. They would get a negative paycheck. They would not have enough money to live if they had to. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that path because it doesn't make any sense. But what this increase is talking about is, I looked up in the budget, which is not posted online, by the way. See, the town just will not have any transparency. This year's budget is just not on the website. It's not. All right, we have this year's budget for that line item is basically $54,000. That's going up to $70,214.86. I didn't do the formula, but they said it's a 30% increase. So if it's not 30% exactly, just don't take my head off, okay? And there's a number of other things that Carla mentioned. One is her salary. She said it's going up 4%. And what she said is that that's the union negotiated that. My understanding from the Board of Selectmen meeting, who have to sign the contract, is they haven't released any of that information because it had these union contracts. This is the only thing the select board has talked about regarding the word override, is they've apparently, with the unions, I don't know about all of them, but Carla's in a union. I think she might be in the supervisors union. I'm not sure. Probably, because she supervises the Board of Health staff over at the landfill recycling center thing. But if she's claiming this 4%, which I'm not accusing her of not telling the truth. I believe that that's what her understanding of what the union has approved or negotiated with the Board of Selectmen is 4%. I have no reason to dismiss that. I'm kind of surprised that the select board went with it, but you see, the select board's sneaky to us, and I mean, I'm going to get into this in a minute. But what they did at their last meeting is they voted, without mentioning any numbers, that they're tentatively agreeing with whatever contracts they signed or agreements that they've signed or agreed to, pending an override vote on these salary increases. Whether they're putting that on the ballot, which I think they should put it on the town ballot, or they're going to do town meeting and then another ballot, I don't know. I hope they're going to go the cheap route, which is put it on the municipal election ballot in April so that we can then vote again at town meeting. I'm really sketchy about the way the select board's going about this, which, of course, I can't help myself in criticizing how they do business. But I mean, if it works, it works. But I'm concerned. I have concerns. Again, my favorite saying, I think, I have concerns. If Cindy's concerned, it's legit. But doing it this way, saying, okay, this is what we negotiated, but, if it's up to the townspeople. It's the townspeople who didn't approve of the 4% if something goes wrong. And it's the unions against us, the townspeople, the voters at town meeting and the voters at the election, not the select board. So we did our due diligence. We just, the voters said no. I don't like the way that is coming out here. They need to, if they voted for something, if they're saying that they're supporting a 4% increase, if that's even the whole, I don't know what the other unions have, but Carla's divulged that her union has supported 4%. That's what they told everybody. I don't know. But if the Board of Selectmen is going to stand behind their actions that they negotiated in any kind of good faith, which this is starting to get questionable for me, but if they negotiated a 4% increase, then they need to stand up for it. They need to stand by their decision and support it and explain to the townspeople that that's a good number and why. I would like to know. I'm not arguing whether 4% is a good or bad number. At this stage, it's not up to me. But it is up to me as a voter in April and May and wherever we finish town meeting. Those numbers, I mean, that is important to understand. Where did this 4% come from? Not, the union did it and we just went along, or we debated that's the best we could get with the union. No. Why 4% and not 3.5%? Why is this the increase? What's been the increase? What has the trend been? And how is this? What is this, a 1 year? Is this a 2 year? This is just this. I think that is for fiscal year 25. We're in fiscal year 26 right now. I'd like to know what the hell is that this, because I think some of these unions are actually without a contract and they're negotiating the current year. This is interesting. Because we'd need an override. We can't do an override this late in the year. I don't know what the hell's going on. But that's at least Carla's budgeting based on 4% for fiscal year 27, because that's what they were talking about tonight. So I think that it should be provided to the public sooner than later, and that somebody needs to stand up for the 4%. Explain it and stand up for it. We did 4%, and this is a good number, and this is why. Not saying, oh no, oh no. You know, we got tired of arguing with the union, and we said, okay, you want 4%, we'll put it up, but it's up to townspeople. If they do that bullshit, shame on them. We should give them 6. No, I'm kidding. You know, the select board needs to stand up for something. Let us know what they believe in. I know they don't believe in transparency, but what is it that they do believe in? Are they going to, where did the 4% come from? I don't even care if an employee does it. Although, you know, they're kind of in a, you know, they really can't. But somebody needs to, I'm not in agreement or disagreement on the 4%. No, I want to be clear about that. I'm not against it. We should give them a raise, but I have no opinion at this stage on whether 4% is good or bad. I know that no matter what a raise like that, which as an employee, that's not that bad. It's not like, oh my God, we hit payday. Oh my gosh, we get this great 4% raise. No. I mean, 4% is like a sigh of relief, because things are costing so much more these days. You know, you go to the grocery store, just go to the grocery store. Or if you got to buy anything, heavens, you know, you're buying something that's got all these tariffs added to it. You know, 4% might be minimum. The data to back up what should we be giving. I know that the cost of living increase is closer to 3% than 2.5%. 2.5% is just it's a fictitious number, but it's put into our statute to makes things very difficult for communities, whether you're the town officials or you're an employee or whether you're a member of the public. 2.5% right now is not sustainable, which is why I have been arguing for an override of $1 million. And I think even the select board would have to agree with me that $1 million is for whatever purposes they have, which they need to explain as well. I'm explaining myself, but they need to explain how that trajectory has gotten to where it is. And I know over the last several years of following the demands by the Board of Selectmen for an override, the number has gone from 2 to 6 to 8. I don't know if they've said 8, but they've been going up each year. Every time they ask, the number is bigger, and the no votes come in even higher. But people, I mean this sincerely, that we needed $1 million. And the reason, well, I've been telling you the reasons, but it's because we've been running on empty. We haven't had enough money to run the town. We really haven't. And the need to fill the gap keeps going up. And the numbers that really the select board has been done a shitty job of explaining what we want an override for. They've been more about trust me, and then they go into executive session to discuss the budget. It's not how that works. And I argue, when I have been arguing against an override, particularly last year, it was my disgust with the Board of Selectmen and refusing to tell the townspeople what the hell is going on with the budget. They refused, and they really stood by their decision to discuss the budget in executive session. And the Attorney General said, "Oh no, you screwed up, people," and they can't do it again. I will do an open meeting law complaint, but this budget stuff, I don't know. But I wish the select board could really look at a budget and understand what they're looking at and be able to explain it to someone, because they can't. They're just, I don't know why they're not capable. Our FinCom is worse off, and they're the finance committee. Come on, somebody. So I'm doing my best on my own, and I'm not going to shut up about my $1 million override ask. And after tonight's Board of Health meeting and the multiple things that Carla put out there for the board, the increase in costs, and she gave really a lot of examples of how she's working to reduce the costs and changing some of the vendors where we're getting some of our services. She's within 30B. She's not violating any rules, I don't think. I mean, but I don't suspect that either. But the energy costs, because she has to keep power on, and because there's water, like a toilet, up at the recycle center for the employees, and they have to keep that building heated so the pipes don't freeze, which will cost even more. But there's utility costs plus electricity. There's lighting, security lighting up there, and I think there's power over the landfill side because it's a closed landfill. But I think there's electricity needed to keep some of however that works. They have to do things up there. I don't know, over my head, but there are energy costs, and just Carl was talking about they provide some safety clothing or uniform. I'll call it uniforms, boots, and some things for those who are working up at the recycling center. The employees, volunteers, I don't think get any of this stuff. But they need to increase some of the clothing allowance for these things, and because you can't get a pair of boots anymore because things are just going up. And I wouldn't be surprised if tariff doesn't have to do with some of those things. Is there a boot company in the United States that sells boots? Do they come from overseas? And probably the ones that are most affordable are coming from overseas. So guess what? There's tariffs, which even with the tariffs, they're cheaper than probably buying a U.S. made product. I'm making an assumption here. I don't know. We got to be realistic, folks. But these increases, I've added this Board of Health information to my list, which I didn't have them on here for the costs. I didn't have them on here. And, we talk about the purple bag stuff. Okay, we're charging all these fees. We got this enterprise fund. Why can't they use some of that money? They can't. It's against the law. The enterprise fund and the fees for the purple bags must stay on topic. They can't double the cost of a purple bag and put the money into energy costs. Or we can't put some of that money, let's we increase the cost for that, increase the fee, increase the purple bag fee, and we'll just put money in, we'll pay Neshoba with that money so we don't have to increase our taxes. Illegal. The money, if we're charging fees, you can't charge fees for one thing but spend the money on something else. It has to stay in that area. If you're selling purple bags, you can't charge more than the cost of the purple bag plus the cost of maintaining that program. So they can increase the purple bag cost, but they have to find that happy medium, that balance. Well, when will people not buy them? And then the enterprise fund, they've added that fee, the annual fee, which I believe is going to go up July 1st. I don't think she didn't cover that. If she did, I missed it. Sorry. But I think they're trying to determine that. Oh, yeah, they did. They're trying to determine that now. So they didn't discuss the enterprise fund at this meeting. They will at the next meeting, I think, to see where those things are going. I think the trash program is going well, but this is a continuous, they got to review what are the costs of the trash program. And are we covering it? Are we receiving revenue? And I think there's also an issue. It's not an issue. It's just something that they have to stay on top of. And all of us do too, is, okay, everybody played nice this first year. And I hope everybody understands that you paid the fee over the summer for the first year, but you got to pay that fee again. It's an annual fee. And because they were rolling out the program, they gave you from July 1st to September 1st to pay the fee to have your trash picked up. That's not that grace period isn't there next year. You're going to have whatever the fee is. Could be 150. I think it's 125 for this year, but I'm just guessing that could go up to 150. But you're going to have to pay that by July 1st in order to continue to have your trash picked up. They can't afford to have a grace period again. I can't. They might, not shut you off for a few weeks, but it will come sooner than September 1st. If they do that grace period again, we're shooting ourselves in the feet, and we really need to collect that money sooner so they know whether the program is viable going into a second year. Because people might not want to play again. They might say, I don't want to do this anymore. And they may go to other services. I know a number of people have bailed on the town and they're doing private pay. I'm one of them. In fact, I went to Shaw's and I quit Shaw's and I'm with another company now. I've gone over to Murray. I'm not going to get into it right now as to why. I may in the future, but I have changed companies. I'm pretty happy. I'm happy with Murray. But so far. And I'll tell you one thing I like about Murray. I looked because I have Ring cameras out everywhere in my house. And, they told me that they'd be picking up the trash like at 7 a.m. or something. And I said, okay. So I checked my Ring. I slept later than that. So I checked my Ring camera and I don't always get every action, but I did get it this last when they picked up my trash. My trash day is Friday mornings now. Keep me on my toes. What day is trash day? They have a woman. There was a woman picking up the trash. Big 96-gallon trash barrel, but she pushes it over. Well, I'm not discussing capability. I'm just saying I'm really happy to see a woman working for a labor job like this. It's really good. They don't discriminate against women. Women apply for the job, or maybe she's family. I don't know. I don't know where these employees come from for this company. I really just started communicating with them. But I was excited to see a woman work in the trash trucks. But yeah, they have the big toters, huge toters that they provide, and they wheel them over and they hook. Shaw's picks them up and dumps them into the truck. But Murray, the truck that came to my house, has a lift. Well, they push it up to the back of the truck, and I couldn't see what grabbed it, but some mechanical thing picked up the barrel and dumped it into the truck and then brought it back down to the street. And then she put the next barrel up. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was wondering what kind of program they were running. So that looks pretty cool. They seem to have all the modern equipment. So far so good. But on the note of people going off the town, I know they had some concerns initially that for people going off the town, we're bailing on the town. And, we really need to have more people get on the program, the town program, not off. So they were concerned that was going to be a crisis. But it hasn't turned out that way. They do have enough people enrolled in the town's program. The going off the town using a private service, it works for some people. I like it. It would be a little bit cheaper for me to go on the town, but not a lot. I just prefer. I don't want to deal with the sticker. I don't want to deal with the purple bags. It's personal preference, and I do like this program. The toters are huge. When I pulled them out the street, it's like, holy crap. Especially I had to go through some snow to get it to the street, so it was a problem. But I don't produce a lot of trash. My recycling toter's full. But I think it's a personal decision. Some people, if you produce a lot of trash, you're better off going private. You have to figure out the cost points, the price point, like how much does per bag cost, how much trash you're putting out, how often, and all this other stuff. So it's a personal decision based on convenience and cost on whether you want to go with to a private trash pickup or even to go get a dumpster. I know several people have opted for dumpster, and it's based on volume. If you got a multifamily, even if it's 3 or 2, you may have more trash and it's easier to manage with a small dumpster rather than a bunch of barrels and bags, and it can be pretty messy. I've seen some homes or multifamily places that it's a mess, and the landlord's got to deal with that, and the tenants have to scratch their heads too. And I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent on this, but there's a lot of decisions that people have to make. All right, I think that's all I have, but I think the most important thing I got out of this Board of Health meeting was budget information. And it really just adds to my concern and adds to my support for an override of $1 million for this coming fiscal year. I can't see a way around it. They can't cut that. We're in depth. We're approaching the next fiscal year with being short $1 million, and that's not an exaggeration. The closer we get, the more I'm seeing that that's an under. I'm under. I think it's really more than $1 million, but I think any amount that's over $1 million, I believe that it's manageable for the town departments to say we can cut. If we get $1 million as an overall budget, then any department that sees that is going to breathe a big sigh of relief. But they're not going to have extra money. They're not going to have, we got a bunch of, what can we spend it on? No. I think they'd be willing to say, I only have to cut, nobody can find $1 million to cut out of their budget. No one. But if they can cut out, they can cut out a few things. We can pinch. We can find something not to buy. We can stretch this, any of those expenses. We can push things out to outer years. If we can get that base budget up $1 million, we can manage in the next few years. And I think that we'll have something to work with if we got to give them $1 million. We're not giving them $1 million. It's us. It's our town. It's our money. The services are things that we really need. And I haven't heard anything yet about wasting money on something. It's common. I know that, Veronica Kell gets a shopping list. I know that our free cash money, when that comes out, it's already spent, but most of it's already spent on the deficit on snow and ice. And every day it seems like there's another issue with snow and ice because we're getting this weather fluctuations with the temperature, and we get rain, we get snow, we get sleet, we get the temperature. The highway department's working 24/7 almost. And they're doing a great job. I'm pretty happy. So anyway, I'm going to call it a night because we're not talking about the Board of Health anymore. We're talking the whole budget. So we'll save that for another meeting, another video, another live stream. I will do budget stuff. Let's see. Right now, I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to go over to myself. I'm not bringing you with me. I'm going to Zoom over to probably the planning board. They're probably still meeting unless they zip through theirs. If they're closed up, I'm going to go watch the water department, but I'm not going to record. I'm just going to go watch because their meetings, it's useless to do that. Anybody that would follow me would be going, what's going on? And they'd be pissed that I wasn't there at the beginning. It's just, what a bunch of crap. But anyway, so I'm going to call it a night. Thanks everybody for watching. And if you're here on the live stream or if you're watching on the replay, thanks a bunch. Don't forget. Is this the one? Hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do that. It really helps the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You'll get notified when I if you hit the notification bell, you subscribe. If you want to subscribe just to help the algorithm, that's fine. And you don't have to hit the notification bell. And you won't be bothered with notifications of my videos. But if you do want to be notified, hit the notification bell and you'll get notified at your preference. And you'll also help the algorithm. So trying to grow the channel so more people will be able to see what's going on around here and share in the information, because nobody else is giving you any information about what's going on in Townsend, are they? It's coming from me. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next meeting. There's going to be another meeting stuff on Wednesday. I have to check my schedule. I got a lot of webinars I'm attending, so I don't know which. This week is busy for me. Oh my. And then I still owe you a couple. I need to give some reports. Oh, Friday, don't forget. Live streaming in the afternoon. I forgot what time. The Ethics Commission, their next hearing regarding David Vijan. So I will see you a couple more times this week. So again, thanks for watching. Have a good evening and take care.